Welcome back, fellow food geeks. Today we have aloo tikki for you. Now, aloo means potatoes, and tikki means basically a fritter or a croquette. So, this is fried potato goodness at its best. It's tangy, it's hot, it's sour, it's sweet, it's chilled at the same time. So, there's no stopping me, and there should be no stopping you to make this. To begin with, I've taken 4 to 5 large potatoes and I've boiled them and I've cooled them in the fridge for at least 4 to 5 hours. It's very important that you chill them after you boil them in the fridge, not the freezer. Now I've peeled them and I'm going to grate them with my grater. Do not use your food processor to grate. It will lead to a little bit of a mush. Do it with the hand grater. So now this is I've grated it. I grated it thickly. You can grate it even more fine if you want. It's up to you. Now this is ready. Now what I've taken here are 3 things. So I have here half a teaspoon of black pepper, then I have 1 teaspoon of coriander seeds and half a teaspoon of fennel seeds, and I'm going to crush them all in my mortar and pestle together. They release a very nice aroma and add a lovely delicious taste to the preparation that we're making. So this is it powdered, and I'll just take it out in a small plate and show you the texture. You see, it's a coarsely ground powder, and that is what we want. Let's keep it aside. Now these are split chickpeas. So all I did was I washed them well and soaked them for around half an hour, and then you can either boil them till they are fork tender, or if you don't want to boil them, you can give them a single whistle in the pressure cooker. I added a little bit of turmeric to it to enhance the color, and you'll just hear the sound when I drop them. So this is how they should be. They should be fork tender, but the sound should come. So peas, around 1/3 of a cup of frozen peas or fresh peas, then boil them if you take fresh peas. And then some green chili. I've taken 1 green chili and chopped it up. You may not use it if you don't feel like it. I've used 1/3 of a cup of paneer, which I've grated. You can use homemade or store-bought paneer, whichever you have is fine. And now let's assemble everything together. Let's put the dal. Dal I took was half a cup, in case I didn't tell you earlier. Okay, so let's put everything in this bowl here and mix it up. And not the potatoes, everything but the potatoes. The chili, if you want to eat chili, you can omit this, entirely up to you. You can increase the quantity too. Now we're adding the fennel seeds and the black pepper and the coriander seeds that we pounded up. Now we add the paneer. Paneer is easily available in all good grocery stores abroad, and in India it's available everywhere. We add the peas, and I'm adding salt here. Now I'm not adding too much of the salt. There is a reason for that, because when I boiled the split chickpeas, I added a little bit of salt, so adjust accordingly. Now I'll add dried mango powder, around half a teaspoon of that, or you can go up to 1 teaspoon. I'm adding a few raisins to it, say around 10 to 20 raisins, up to you really. If you don't like raisins, don't add. If you have cashews, add that as well. Let's give it all a mix. Now while I'm mixing this up, let me talk to you about the agent which is going to hold the potatoes together and make it crispy. Now you can add corn flour, that works well. Do taste this mixture. If you feel it needs adjustment, add something more. Now I think it needs half a teaspoon of red chili powder, so I'm adding that. So as I was saying, you could add corn flour, you could add rice flour. Now these are rice flakes. I'm going to just put them in the blender jar and blend them a little, and I'm going to add this as the crispening agent. You could add rice flour also if you have that. You could add potato starch, that could also work fine. See, basically the thing is that potatoes have a lot of moisture. We want to remove it, and this you will add according to how much of it you need. That depends. It needs to bind properly, so you might have to add much more if your potatoes are moist and less if your potatoes are not moist. I'm just adding a little bit of salt here before I give it a mix, because the potatoes also need to be salted. And this is grated ginger, 1 teaspoon of grated ginger, which I'm mixing in the potatoes as well. So now I'm adding half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hing. This is optional. Now remember that you add whatever binding agent you're adding as much as you require your potatoes to come together like this, these are. So I cannot give you a measurement on that. Now let's bring the things together so that we can now start assembling our tikkis. I'm taking some oil because oil will help moisten my hands when I'm shaping the tikkis. So I take the potatoes like so, make a depression, take a little ball of the stuffing which I've made, the chana dal stuffing, and cover it with more potatoes and make a roughish sort of a like a big meatball. You will tell me this doesn't look like a tikki, but wait, hang on, I have a trick up my sleeve. So I'm going to put it in the 1 cup mold. This is a 1 measuring cup mold, and it's not a mold, I mean it's a measuring cup. So I'm going to put it in and I'm going to press it really hard so that it forms a proper cutlet. See? And voila, this is your tikki. I told you I had a trick. And this makes you beautiful tikkis, thick tikkis each time. In the market you get such big tikkis, and that's why we need this. Otherwise I would have made it with my hand. Let me make another one for you. While I'm making this and you are seeing this, I will again reiterate, adjust the corn flour or the rice flour or the poha, which is the rice flakes powder, according to how much you need to make the potatoes a little dry so that they come together nicely. Once all these tikkis are made, I'm going to dust them with a little corn flour and keep them for some time. Keep them for 15 minutes in the fridge. Don't forget to dust them in corn flour once your tikkis are made. I did not show that on camera, but remember to do that. After the tikkis are made, just dust them with corn flour well. See, I'm showing you another way now. Pat some potatoes inside the measuring cup only, and then take some stuffing. Make sure you get the edges also. Put it nicely in the edges like you would for when you're making a cheesecake. You pat the crumb layer the same way, and then you add the mixture in the middle, and then you make sure there are potatoes on all sides of the mixture. And then you take more of the potatoes and close the mixture up like so and pat it tightly. It's a densely packed tikki, and this is ready. You may add more if you want more potatoes to, you are shaping it. You want smaller tikkis, you can do that also. After all, you are the king or the queen of shaping your tikkis. So this is the second method. You can use this method also, and the tikkis will come out fine. Just remember, again reiterating, corn flour, dusting in the end. These measures to keep the potatoes bound well together is very important for the tikki to have its crispness. So that is why I am stressing, because these small tips and tricks make a whole lot of a difference between a nice tikki and a fabulous tikki. So that is why. So dust them with corn flour and keep them aside. Meanwhile, you can heat your oil in any skillet, pan, whatever you want to use. I put it on the gas. I will keep it on a medium high, and I have 1 centimeter of oil. You can see it with the knife, and that is how much you need. You do not submerge it totally in oil, and you need to have a little bit. In case you do not want to fry with oil, I'll show you another option as well, which doesn't use as much oil. We'll let it heat up, and we'll add our tikki to it once it's hot. Don't worry about those little sparkles. That's why we're not adding too much of oil. That's okay. You will get a little bit of the mess in the oil. That's okay. That's because of the corn flour we put outside. That's why that's happening. So we'll let it crisp up for some time. Meanwhile, I want to show you the second method. So this is my griller, which has this attachment, this flat skillet attachment, and I've put the tikkis on this, and I'm going to cook 2 of them on this. And this will need very little oil, mind you. Of course, these are also coated with corn flour. Now these will take longer to cook, and they will not be as crisp as the one we're frying in oil, but for the health conscious, it's a very nice alternative. Now we'll turn the tikki around because it's crisped up from one side, and we'll crisp up this side as well. Just be careful, don't splash oil on yourself. Now take something to press this. Once it's red from both sides, take something to press the tikki open and split the potatoes a little bit. What this is doing is actually creating more surface area for the crispness. Now let it become crisp and then turn. Don't keep turning it again and again. Let the potatoes turn crisp and only then turn it. When both the sides are crisp according to the way you like them, you can take them out. You can take the tikki out. Always remember, the more surface area you give to potatoes for browning, the more crispier they'll get. And that is why the vendors have such crispy tikkis, because this is the process they follow. This is their tip and trick. Do all the tikkis this way. See how crisp and perfect that was? Now these are also done. We'll take them out once they're done. We'll add a little bit of oil if we need. I'm adding a little bit, 1 teaspoon. Once they're done, we'll remove them. Now this is the roasted one. This is also crisp, but the crispness layer is not as thick as the one in the fried one. Listen. So I'd like you to compare the two. You can compare, you can make this as a healthier alternative, or you could make this one, which was the fried one, which is more crispy. So there will be a difference. You cannot rule out the difference, because frying will make it more crispy, but you can use whatever is your preference. Now how I've assembled is, I've crushed it up, I've added my chaat masala to it, I've added the green coriander chutney, coriander mint chutney, I've added the tamarind and jaggery chutney to it, I've added curd, and I've added some pomegranate seeds and some cilantro to garnish it, or coriander, whatever you call it, and it's ready. It's so easy. It's, you have to just add those things that you need. You don't want to add curd, don't add. You don't want to add one of the two chutneys, want it sweet, don't add the green chutney. You don't want chaat masala, you don't add it. You want to add it, add it. Like I said, it's all about you, your choice, what you like. The way it's served in as a street food in India, it all these things are added. So I've added them. You may or may not use them for garnishing. You could in fact just pick it up and have it. It's that delicious. So I hope you give it a try. Let me know how it turned out to be. If there are any questions, please write for me and I'll answer them. Believe you me, this is going to be one of the best tikkis you've ever tasted. Trust me. So like, share and subscribe if you haven't done already. Click the notification bell, and I'll catch you very soon in another recipe, because there's a whole lot of goodness where this came from.